So I head back outside, give her the news, and she's like, okay, that's ridiculous, but whatever, we're going to wait. We're trying not to make any assumptions. Okay, so maybe about half hour to 45 minutes pass by. Finally, a patrol car rolls up. So I'm like, finally, all right, cool. I'm like, you never know, maybe they were busy taking care of, other serious crimes that evening and they couldn't get back to us. I don't know. I'm not going to make any assumptions, but, the police roll up, and it wasn't even like, the funny thing is they rolled up and they rolled down the window. They wasn't really even trying to get out the car. Hey everybody, it's another episode of LB Tales from the Hood, and if you don't know by now, I'm your boy LB, bringing this story straight the way I remember them from back in the days to give you a little something to learn from. So without further ado, today's episode is Dial 911 Failed Part 1. Yeah, when dialing, or it's probably Dial 911 Failed Part 1. Anyway, let's get on to the story. This story takes place around the time I was 15 years old. So if you didn't already hear my previous stories, basically I explained my mom, she worked long hours. She worked from the morning all the way up until the evening. So one night I hear a knock at the door. Bap, 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 knocks me up, wakes me up out of my sleep, right? It's about probably, I want to say about 2 in the morning. So I hear the knock, my mom's sound asleep, so I go to the door. It's a young lady telling me, oh my God, her hair's all just like out of place. She looks like a little ruffled up. She's like, oh my God, I need help, I need help. I'm like, okay, I can see that she was visibly upset. She seemed to be, physically something that happened, some type of altercation. So I'm like, okay, calm down, tell me what happened. I get you the help you need, or I help get you the help you need. She explains that she was going to some party or something with some guy. And as they were driving, he tried to touch her. She told her, no, we're just going to the destination. She didn't want that. So he continuously tried to, basically sexually assault her. So he got a little bit more aggressive. So, he pulls the car over and she's fighting the guy off. And he's trying to assault her at this point because, he's in this rage or whatever. He wants to do what he wants to do, sexually assault her. So she breaks away from him. So she runs away. And then she said when she looked back, she noticed he drove off in the opposite direction. But she told me what had happened is she basically was far away from home because, the party was way across town from where she stayed at. She had no idea where she was at. She wasn't familiar to this area. So I was like, all right, well, he sexually assaulted you. I was like, would you like me to call the police for help with this? She was like, yes, definitely. She wants to call the police. She wants to report what happened and, they can get her the help she needs. I'm like, okay. So I didn't bother to wake my mom up. She's knocked out. I said, not a problem. So I went. I said, hold on. Kept at the front door. Went. Got the phone. I dialed 911. I explained to them, a young lady showed up at my door. She was, she told me that, it was a sexual assault, attempted sexual assault. And, she was stranded and she needed some help. And she wanted to, basically file a report and go through the procedure. So, okay, so 911, they take the call. They take my information. So what I do is I get two fold-up chairs we had. I came outside my building. I came to the front. I said, here. I said, let's sit here in front on the steps and wait for the police. So we're waiting for the police. We're waiting 30 minutes. We're waiting an hour. So finally it's about like, I want to say about an hour and a half, 90 minutes go by. And they never show up. So I'm like, all right. I'm like, this is ridiculous. I'm like, how is it the police didn't show up? And we told them, I explained to them it's a sexual assault case, but regardless, they're supposed to show up and respond. So all right. So I call them back. I'm like, 911, blah, blah, blah. Tell them the situation, give my address again. They're like, oh, that address, yeah, the officers responded to the call. They said when they went out there, they went to the house and nobody was home. And I'm saying, okay, I said, first off, I gave them, I gave whoever I spoke to the first time in 911, I said, I gave them my address. And I said, I was actually with the lady who was assaulted. We're both on the front steps. So I'm like, there's no way they came to the house and nobody was here, because I said, if they had came to my apartment complex, when you drive in our area, I was like, right there, we would have seen them. I said, we sitting on the steps right in front of the building. And they're like, no, this is what the officer said. They showed up, nobody was there. And they said, so you want us to dispatch another unit? I'm like, yeah, she's here. She needs help. She was assaulted. They said, okay, we're dispatching another unit. Make sure somebody's there this time. I'm like, okay, we're outside, but all right, cool. So I head back outside, give her the news, and she's like, okay, that's ridiculous, but whatever, we're going to wait. We're trying not to make any assumptions. Okay, so maybe about half hour to 45 minutes pass by. Finally, a patrol car rolls up. So I'm like, finally, all right, cool. I'm like, you never know. Maybe they were busy taking care of, other serious crimes that evening and they couldn't get back to us. I don't know. I'm not going to make any assumptions, but, the police roll up. And it wasn't even like, the funny thing is they rolled up and they rolled down the window. They wasn't really even trying to get out the car. It was like, somebody here called 911 and, I was like, she did. And I was like, she could explain it to you better than I can. I just the one that called to explain that she needed help. So she's explaining to him exactly what happened, the situation. She went out, the guy sexually assaulted her. And they're like, okay. And they're like, so what do you want us to do? And it's crazy because that completely caught me off guard because I'm like, okay, what does she want them to do? I'm like, I don't know. In the movies, people call 911 and when they respond, they take the information. They might take them down to the precinct, get a further report, and take them home and make sure they're safe. I don't know. I only know from dealing, from watching the movies. I don't usually deal with this situation. I'm just trying to, be the good citizen I am and just help this young lady who needs help. And they're like, okay, they're like, no, that's it. They was being short with all their answers, and they're like, okay, that's it. We're leaving, basically. And I'm like, that's when I stepped in. I said, okay, this is getting a bit ridiculous. So I'm like, officers, you maybe don't want to just get a police report and then, take this young lady home, make sure she's home safe. And they're like, no, we're not doing all that. And we're not an effing cab. And that was it. They rolled up the windows, pulled off, whoop, whoop, pulled on out of there and took off. Smoke coming from behind the car, damn near 0 to 100 real quick. Basically, the car taking off, just flew out of the parking lot. I'm like, okay. So she's looking at me. She's scared and she's crying and she's like, okay, she's like, this is messed up with the situation that happened to me. She's like, I didn't ask for it. I was assaulted. And she was like, now the people supposed to help me won't even help me. What am I going to do? I don't even know where I'm at. She didn't have anybody she can call. She was far away from home. Nobody that, that was available that time of night. I said, look, man. I said, all right. I said, we're going to do this. I said, our only other option. And see, this is how you can tell that, God works in mysterious ways. And I say that because if you watch one of my previous videos, or a few of my previous videos, I probably mentioned, we were poor. So we was in the project, we were poor, we didn't have much money. But what happened is, around Christmas and birthday, and certain times my grandparents might send me some money. They might send me a money order for $20 or something like that, or, $10 here and there. So it just so happened, I guess I had one of my, I don't know if it was a birthday for whatever reason it was. Could have been Easter. I don't remember what time it was around the time of year, but I know for some reason I had gotten $20 from them. So I had a $20 bill in my room. So I said, all right, I told her, what we're going to do is we're going to call a cab. And I was like, that's it. I said, just give me your address and they'll just take you home. And, I think back then, well, I got her address and I called the cab. First of all, she was telling me that that'd be great. It's just that she didn't have any money. She was like, she had no way home. She know they've been driving for a while. She's far away from home. Even if she did have money, it's probably, too expensive, whatever. So I said, look, let me call the cab company, find out what's what. So I called the cab company, looked in the yellow pages. Back then we had yellow pages. This was before, the internet was mainstream. So yes, went to the yellow pages, for all you don't know. Got that. Yes, it's old school. Mad old. Those who know that. But anyway, getting back to the story. Go to the yellow page, get a cab company. Call them up. I give them the address I'm at. I give them the address she provided that I wrote down. So they tell me it's going to be, they said they estimate from our distance it may be, I don't know, let's say $11, something like that. It could have been 9, 10. It was maybe around 10, a little over 10, somewhere around there. But we'll say like that. So I tell her what they said, and she's like, once again, she don't have any money. I said, look, don't even worry about that. I was like, I said, you happen to be in luck. And I was like, it's got to be God, because I was like, we don't normally have much money either. But I was like, I had whatever situation it was at the time, whether, like I said, birthday, Easter, I don't remember. But I had some money from my grandparents. I had a $20 bill. And that $20 bill, I was holding on to get something or whatever. Sometimes we like to, when we call ourselves going all out, my mom and I, and eventually my godbrother, when we came around, this is what we did. We would go to like Fry Basket and drop like maybe $6, $7. You can get crazy amounts of food. Or we would get like a whole bunch of Chinese food and have like a little feast. Or sometimes I would save up, try to put things on layaway. And sometimes I actually was into flipping my money at a young age. So sometimes I would just try to stack it in so I can make money so we can get up out of our situation, out of the projects. But I said, you know what? I said, right now, Spirit is telling me that, I need to forget that. It's bigger than myself and what I can use the money for. I need to make sure this young lady get home safe. So, you know, she started crying and everything, and she was thanking me and everything, gave me a hug, and she said, you know, she was like, I don't know how I can repay you. I'm thinking, I said, look, I said, we're not doing all that. I said, you don't have to worry about repaying me. I was like, I'm blessed to have a little extra right now. So I was like, that blessing, you know, it was meant for me to have it so I can help provide you to make sure you got home safe. I'm like, you know what I'm saying? This is your blessing now. I can't block your blessing. Spirit works like that. And I'm like, it's the important thing is, like I said, you get home. You're getting home safe. And she cried. She thanked me. And, you know, she was just happy that somebody helped her. Because actually she had told me before she had came to my apartment, she actually knocked on other people's door, but they shooed her away. They was like, nah, go away. Some people wouldn't open the door. She was like, you know, I need help. I need help. She's screaming help. They wouldn't help her. So she was like, I was the first person to help her. You know, on a few doors that she had knocked on, she really thanked me. And she, you know, when the cab came, man, and she was waving and she was so happy, I felt like I had did a good thing. And I just thank God. And I said, thank God that you provided for me so that I would be in this position right now to be able to help her out. And, you know, that's it. That's the end of the story. Dialing 911 failed part 1. Actually, there's 2 parts. And you know what? There's actually something else, a continuation. I don't want to get into it because I don't want to, you know, give anything away, but you're going to have to stay tuned for that. So, if you're not already, go ahead and start following me. Hit that notification bell to stay tapped in. Make sure you like this video. You know, tag and share with at least 3 people, man. You know the drill. We got to get the word out. These videos going to keep coming. I'm going to keep dropping it to you. I say weekly, who knows? It's going to definitely be on a weekly basis, but, you know, maybe a few days out the week. I don't know. Maybe I go for 5-6 days out of the week. I don't know. Not making any promises. But like I said, I'm going to keep them coming. So as that concludes this video, I'm going to see you next time. And you know we're going to sign off with a signature chill to the next episode. Oh, by the way, just to sum it all up, make sure you do good things, man. Pay it forward. That's one of my favorite movies, too. If you haven't seen it, check it out. Make sure you pay things forward, man, because when you pay things forward, the blessings come back to you, but that's not why we should do it. You know, I don't do things being like, yeah, if I do something good, good's going to come back to me. I do it because it's the right thing to do, man. At the end of the day, you know, the Creator knows my heart, and I'm blessed regardless. So do good things. Do it for the sake of doing good things. Each one teach one, each one help one. We can help make this world a better place. So with that, I'm signing off. It's your boy LB. Peace.